Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Unity. I'm your host, Maximilian Moreau, and with me is my tech, Philip Wilson.
I'm here.
So, first off, apologies last week for the bad sound quality. We hopefully have that fixed up this time because last time I had the microphone set up, but it was recording out of the one that was in my laptop. So,
It's unfortunate.
yeah, hopefully that won't be the case this time. It looks like it's not, but I'm not going to know really until after all of this. So on our last episode, let's open up our test scene here. We had basic collision working for. Wait, what? Hello.
Oh,
okay, there we
we
go. We had basic collision working. We had the new reticle. We have the new bullets. We have the flashy engines / bullets. We have the rotating thingies, and we have scoring for when you fly through them. And we don't have scoring or collision on the arches yet. And additionally, the what is it? The collision on these things, while it makes them rotate when they get hit, the player doesn't have any feedback or any damage or anything. So we might want to look into that. Maybe not for the rings, but definitely for the arches. The crux of what I would like to do today is do a little bit of cleanup on this level, and then work on a new level. Instead of it being a separate scene, though, I want it to be part of this scene, so we can do a transition. In a perfect world, we could use Unity Pro and just actually have them as separate scenes and then procedurally load to the next scene. As I do not have a copy of Unity Pro, and you probably don't either, I'm going to avoid that, and we're just going to mishmash it into the same scene.
I think that's a good idea.
So let's first. So one of the things I do want to fix that we've talked about several times, but I just never got around to fixing, is the camera currently doesn't follow the player in any way, shape, or form. I think we should change that, mostly because if you look here, it's going to fix a bug we already have, which is these arches. If you wanted to fly underneath them, you have to pretty much fly off screen practically. It's really kind of uncomfortably close that you have to come to the ground. And you can't even tell how close I am to the ground. Like, I could be through it, I could not be. And you can't tell from this camera angle anyway. So let's see if we can add a little bit of camera follow to this. So do I have something that'll work for this? Okay, so let's just create a script. Let's just start with that. Create C# script. We're going to call this... what should we call this? Camera. I'm just going to call it camera follow.
Works for me.
And actually, before we do this right now, I'm going to just really quickly check it, because sometimes it's no use. It's not really that useful to reinvent the wheel if the wheel is already readily available. So I'm just going to really quickly check the script section of the assets here to see if there is a good camera script. There's a smooth follow, smooth look at. I don't think either of those will help us, actually. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother. We're just gonna write ours from scratch. That way, at least we'll know how it works.
This is true.
All right. If I saw something in there that was like camera. Uber camera, I don't know what I was looking for, but I wanted something that was a little bit more camera specific and a little bit less sounding like it was for a third-person non-rail game, which is what most of their cameras are probably set up for. So what we're going to do is I'm going to basically make this... So currently we have a ship, and if we look at the inspector, I'm going to turn off the maximize on play here so that we can look at the inspector while this is going. And we look at our ship here. You'll see this at origin with respect to the gameplay plane, and the gameplay plane is actually at origin with the exception of the Z position changes. So what we can do, since the camera is part of the gameplay plane, we can have its, and it's just positioned in there, we can basically position this X and Y based on a modified amount of the X and Y position of the ship. So, like, what I mean by that is, if the camera followed exactly, as a matter of fact, if we wanted the camera to follow the ship exactly, we can do that just by parenting the ship to the camera or vice versa. I'm just going to quickly do that to show you what this does. So if we do that, that didn't do it. I said or vice versa, I meant just vice versa. So we're going to parent the ship to the camera. I mean, the camera's going to be the parent of the ship. That still didn't fix it. Oh, it's because we're just changing the ship's... Wait, so why didn't the... Or is that what I tried before and it didn't work twice because I'm an idiot? Probably is what happened. There we go. So, that's a different result than I would have expected, actually. So you can see that this is not what we want. And actually, I was expecting it to kind of follow differently than it did. I think it's because of what I attached it to. It's weird. But basically, we don't want that behavior. We want the camera to follow to an extent. And actually, maybe not even to an extent, but basically less following than it does if you were just to parent it. So, now that I've made that long-winded discussion, all we're going to do is make it so that there is a public... should we do this as vector 3? Let's do it as vector 3. Public vector 3... movement ratio equals vector 3.1. So by default, this will actually be a 1-to-1 ratio, just as if you would parent it. And we're going to need a public transform. You can use transform or game object in this case. In this case, since we only care about position, I'm going to be doing transform just because it saves us a step of casting. So we're going to call public transform object to follow. I guess I could have called it follow object. And so all we have to do here is, what are we doing? We're going to set the transform dot, let's do it as, so vector 3 new position equals object to follow dot position. And so we're doing this in the X and Y. We don't want to actually have it... Oh, we do want it to follow in the Z. Kind of. We may get to that. We'll code ourselves into a corner and then knock the corner open.
It'll all work out.
That'll work. So new position equals object to follow up position. So we want... wait, so we want this to be... So we're talking about the position from 0, which is a special case. Alright, we're going to do this camera follow with a vector 2. We're going to assume the Z to be whatever the parent Z is. So let's see if that casts automatically. I think it probably won't. So let's not see if it will cast automatically. Let's just cast it. So we have the new position, so we want new position dot x times equals movement ratio dot x and new position dot y times equals movement ratio dot y. And actually, we do want this as vector 3. So ignore what I was doing there. And then new position dot z, new position dot z equals transform dot position dot z. That should keep it exactly the same. And then we finally apply our transform dot position equals new position. So that should hopefully do something. Let's see if it does something. So we're going to attach this to our main camera. Whoops, I think I attached it to this arch spawner. Nope, I didn't. Or I attached it to nothing.
I do not know.
Undo add camera follow. Okay, so there was an add camera follow. I'm going to undo it just because I don't trust it anymore. Alright. And let's add camera follow to this. So object to follow, in this case we want it to be our ship. Is that the one that actually moves? Yeah, ship. So main camera, we drag in our ship here. And we're going to just leave the movement ratio 1 and 1 real quick to see if it works, kind of. So you can see that it is following exactly our position horizontally and vertically right now, which is not exactly what we want. And it's also creating some jitter. Why is it creating jitter like that? It's kind of unnerving. All right. Let's first see if the ratios work. So if we do like a 50% ratio on here, does this kind of do what we want? So now when we get close to the ground, yeah, that's getting closer to what we want. We actually want to make that ratio a little bit smaller, or we want to make the character actually collide with the ground. But you can see this already has fixed the problem for the most part, because now we can see we're clearly going through the arches, and actually we can go through these ones that are further out of the bounds as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's already improved the game a tremendous degree. I'm really kind of bummed that we didn't do this earlier. Now the jitter, maybe that's actually due to the... didn't we set this to interpolate something? No, we're not interpolating. Maybe we need to interpolate.
It's just possible.
Let's give it a shot. Interpolate. No, that doesn't really fix it. So... what is jumping like? Why is it doing that? Wasn't doing that before, right?
Hopefully not.
I'm just gonna uncheck camera follow. Yeah, it looks all... I don't think it's jumping. Doesn't look like it's jumping. Maybe... okay, let's try something just to be sure. Let's do it as late update. And see if that fixes anything. Oh, wow. Oh, wait, no. It's still not doing anything. Okay. Let's turn it back on. It's probably going to be jerky again. I wonder what's up with that. So, our ship movement, jet model, or jet, or ship. It's in the update loop. I was wondering if we were using fixed update, and then maybe it was just like a fixed update change, but that's not the case. Why is it doing that? Phil, why is it doing that?
I don't know.
You're supposed to be...
weird.
You're my tech, you're supposed to be helping me on this.
I'm helping make an
Oh
enemy
goodness.
ship.
Oh, something's bad's
wow.
happening. Nah!
What is going on?
I don't know!
What is going on there?
Okay, maybe I shouldn't be adjusting...
Alright.
New position equals object followed up position. We adjust the ratio. We set the Z to the current transformed up position.Z. Alright, so let's look at our camera and see what it's actually doing here. So if I don't touch anything...
Yeah, look at that. The ship is slowly moving towards the camera.
But what is actually happening? So the camera's not changing. The ship's changing?
Maybe it's the jet model. Check the other jets. See if there's anything. There we
Oh,
are.
there we go.
So that's where it's moving.
Why is it moving here?
I don't know.
And why is it not moving there when... oh goodness.
Open that back up real quick.
I'm going to turn this off again. I just want to see if it does it again. Oh, it is doing it.
So it's not that script. Something else?
When did that start happening?
That is a good question. I don't remember that happening.
What is going on? See, this happens to everyone. Don't feel frustrated when things like this happen because, and I know, actually, no, go ahead and feel frustrated when things like this happen
Yes.
because you're going to. Like, I'm frustrated right now, but what is going on with that? Oh, maybe that's because I set it to interpolate.
That could be. See if that helps.
All right. So that was it. The interpolate, for whatever reason, was really messing with my transform mojo there.
It's kind of weird.
All right, let's turn this back on again, and it'll probably still be choppy, but at least it won't be going towards the screen. It's really not that choppy. Is it doing anything funky? No, that's staying normal. This is moving as you would expect. That has an awkward little bit of rotation in it that I don't really like. Is it actually ratcheting? Oh, it is. Great. Why is that happening again? Or maybe it was happening before, but it's just to such a small degree it's hard to notice.
This is possible. I don't know. I'm sure there's a logical reason why this is happening.
Alright, so we do have a bug with the rotating thing. It's, as I said, it's very minor. I'm probably not going to fix that right this second. I'm not seeing the... no, maybe I'm just seeing things. It's not chopping as noticeably as before.
No, it's not.
I'm not sure if I could really tell you why.
It doesn't look to be, though.
I think it's because the late update fixed something, and then we had broken it with the other thing, and then we thought it
Could
was
be
still
a rigid
broken.
body.
So here's what I think
fighting
happened.
with
Let's actually test it. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and just figure out the mystery real quick. So camera follow. If I turn this on, but I make this just update, it'll probably get the chop back. And then the reason I thought it was still choppy before, chops back.
It's definitely back.
So late update is what we wanted. So what late update is just a update call that happens after all other update calls have been called.
Yeah.
And if you have multiple late updates, they go in kind of the same order that update does, is based on whatever script loading order, or if you specifically set the script load order, it goes in that order. So late update, we're only using it in one place, and it's very appropriate. We're inspecting some other object to follow.
Yeah.
So makes sense that would be where you do it. So
Late update is typically for physics objects, though, isn't it?
it can be used for either. Late update for physics objects, typically, since they only update every so many frames, typically, depending on your settings, I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter how you set that up. All right, so we have a little bit of camera movement. That seems to be working now. Let's go ahead and make those arches kind of work. So let's pull an arch in here. And let's find it in our scene. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some collision to it. So again, we can't go convex on this one because we need to have a center thing and the other thing. So we're going to do it the same way that we did before. So I'm going to bring in, just as a reference, our ring here, which I'm going to put it somewhere near where this thing is. Maybe 50. Okay, I guess it's at 50. There we go. So this one, you can see that we have our center collision, which is a just a distance check, a sphere collider, And then the rest of these are cube colliders that have been placed in the appropriate places. And we're going to do something similar with this. I'm probably just going to do 3 cubes, and it'll have a little bit of extra collision or non-collision. But it'll be real quick to do. So we're just going to do create a new empty game object. I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. I'm going to put it at 0, 0, 0. We're going to put a box collider on it, physics box collider. So the arch is going to need a physics rigid body that we're going to set to is kinematic. What did we end up doing with these ones? Oh yeah, we just locked the constraints. That's what we did. This one we're going to just do is kinematic because there's no reason that it has to move in the scene. And so we're going to call this collision 1. And we're going to put it... Whoops. Is that how we set it up on the ring? I forgot. Yeah, that's how we set it up on the ring. You could do it either way. You can either set the position of the subgame object and then adjust the size of it, or you can adjust the offset of the box collider. Either will work. I think that visually it makes more sense to do the move the actual game object rather than this kind of hidden stuff, because what happens is you'll be like, why is this off? And you'll be like trying to adjust this, and you're like, it's off by like 3, and then you're like, oh, I did this. So I'm gonna just err on the side of not having that happen. So we want to make it bigger. And did we do that on these, or did we do... Yeah, I did it there on these. I kind of did a hodgepodge. I know why I did too, because I just have so much bad luck whenever I change the scale of something. And I'm gonna stick with it too. So 3, that looks good. The Y, I don't know what these represent anymore because they're facing this direction, but that's way too much Y. We just need that much Y. And the Z doesn't really matter all that much. I mean, the X doesn't really matter all that much, but we'll make it wider because that's appropriate. And then we can just duplicate this, and then we're going to just rotate it using one of the myriad methods we have available to us, and kind of move it into position. So I'm going to go ahead and, because we don't want to intersect with the area that we can actually get into too much, so I'm going to actually rotate this kind of, oops, give me that handle, there we go.
Good.
I'm going to rotate to kind of match the interior angle. The reason I'm going for the interior rather than exterior is because as a game designer, I believe in giving players as much leeway as possible. Like, I always thought it was just complete garbage when I would play Gradius and a bullet would come in, not even hit any pixel in my ship, just somewhere in the hitbox of the ship, and my ship blows up. So
that's just the way it works.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't have to work that way. That's the point. So
that's what Radiant Silvergun taught us.
Oh god, I love that game. Love both those games. So we want to have as little for the player to collide with as possible. We certainly don't want to collide in the goal area of the center there, and that's already sticking out too much. So let's just do 3. I'm going to push it down a little bit, because we have collision up there already, right? That's what one of our colliders does. So that'll probably work. I almost want to make the collision a little bit smaller just so it doesn't have that jump there. Whatever. I'll just leave that there. And so we'll call this collision 2 and just duplicate it and call this collision 3. And this one we just do, well, 60. And we do -2. No. There it is. Okay. So we now have collision for the arch. And the cube is the actual geometry stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this to the prefab. And let's delete this and delete a ring and see how things work now. Oh yeah, we won't be able to tell that we've hit anything. Maybe we should have a screen shake when you hit something or something. Or a sound effect. Let's just add the other collider to it real quick that has score on it. Which is one of the things we wanted. So we want, I'm going to again bring in the ring as a reference, just to look at reference. So the ring has a collision center, and this one just has add score to trigger on enter. So we just basically do the same type of thing on here. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to copy this one and paste it into our arch. Well, paste it into there, and then paste it into the arch, and then set it to 0, 0 to start, which already puts it almost perfect.
Wow.
I'm going to make it just a tiny bit smaller. Yeah. That way you won't hit it and get it. Though that happens in Star Fox, actually.
Yeah, you can hit
you
it.
You can hit it and get it. In the case of the arches, certainly. So let's reapply that. And we'll delete all these things. And then we're going to hit play. And so now we should be able to get points if we fly through arches as well. And we shouldn't get points shooting through them, which should be solved by our copy pasta, but you never know.
You never really do.
Whee! Oh. How did I get 400? Was I getting stuff from this? Oh. Oh, it is definitely giving me points when I shoot through the arches. Or it's giving me points shooting something.
But what?
Looks like it's the arches. Also looks like we may run into a lot of collision issues with the current speed of the bullets. But because I'm shooting at it, I'm like, I'm getting scores some of the time. Huh. All right. So let's go ahead and really quickly fix that. So why is that the case? So if we go into collision center here, it's untagged. Shouldn't it be part of... Oh, it's part of the bonus layer. Okay. That's good. So why would that not work then? Because that's how we're... If we go into the project settings... Physics... Player bullets do not collide with the bonus. So that's as it should be. So why does it feel like they're colliding? Or was I running into things that I didn't know existed?
That is possible.
Alright, so it says 300. Why does it say 300? I'm not going to shoot anything. I'm going to fire one bullet. No, it says 400. Am I just getting points for no reason?
No.
There. Saw
You're
some
getting
points.
points for no reason. Why are you getting points for no reason?
Why am I getting points for no reason? Alright. Easy solution, potentially. Let's just go to our score manager. Oh, wait. Yeah, this is a very simple score manager, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes it is. Alright, let's instead do the add score on trigger enter. What caused that? Alright, let's add collider col, and we're going to just debug.log col. See if we can make this figure out what gave us a point. So the plane gave us a point. That might be the problem.
Why is the plane giving points?
So I think, yep, that's what's happening. When the
Oh,
arches are spawning in,
wow.
it's colliding with the plane.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so now we know why. So what I had done there, you've seen debug log before. You can actually just give it an object and it'll print out the name of the object. If you give it a second parameter, it will actually make it so when you click on this, it shows the object in question that collided.
Oh, wow.
And so that gives you a real easy way to debug this. So we discovered the problem. So this is the problem. We need to make sure that this is tagged as something that's not. Let's add a layer, ground, and let's make it so that. So first, let's make sure that we tag this as ground, and then let's go into project settings, physics. We're going to make sure that the ground does not collide with bonus. As a matter of fact, the only thing that should collide with bonus really is the player.
Yes.
I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to cut through everything here and make it so bonus only collides with the player. There, that should do it. So bonus, there's only one. All right. So if we hit play now, we shouldn't see any aberrant scoring problems. Yeah, looking good. Gotta try hitting the edge of one of these. It's probably gonna still give me points. Yep, it did. That's okay, we expected that. Alright, so we have collision for that. So let's transition to another level. How are we gonna do this?
Magic.
Yep. Gonna need some magic. So let's create some sort of structure to represent the end of the level. And it's going to be really, really basic to start with. I'm sure that my new artist Phil will be able to to make it better in the future. But we're just going to use some built-in geometry for Unity right now.
I don't consider myself an artist.
What I'm going to do is, so about how wide is our play area? Well, we're going to make it narrower for the next thing anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this arch that doesn't need to be here. And I'm going to create a new empty game object that is going to be called, I'm going to call it end of level structure. And let's put the cube inside of it. And this one is going to say, let's see, y -3, z 50, y-3z50. What am I thinking? Alright, so cube is at 0, 0 though, right? Okay. Got lost in thought for no reason. So we're going to make this thing bigger by a lot. I'm going to make it like 10 by 10 by 5. And so when I said the y10, I actually wanted 20. And when I said 20, I actually wanted 30. And let's make it 20 wide and 10 deep. That's sizable, right? Yeah, that's much bigger than our ship. Okay, that'll work. Let's go ahead and do that, and let's duplicate it. If you guys have played Star Fox, you'll remember in Venom there's a point where you actually fly into the planet, and that's kind of what I want to do for our transition. And I kind of want to do this for multiple reasons, but I also want one of the main ones is actually to see how to do an animation that's a little bit more complex than what we've done before. And the other reason is I want to prove to you guys that the plane can be used in a more dynamic way than just straightforward. And we may find out that this is actually going to be difficult because we're actually going to be traveling straight down, which is not a great direction to travel in
Yeah.
Euler space. But everything that we've set up so far should still work with that. So let's give that a shot, though. So I'm just going to do one more cube, and we're just going to... So this one in the middle I'm going to set to 0. And the cubes on the side, what is that, 10? 10. And then one of these we set to -10. No. Oops, that's the scale. -10, there we go. And then we can slide this one over to the right, and we can make it smaller. So this one's 20. Duplicate. Oops, that didn't duplicate anything. All right. -20. And let's make it so this kind of looks less stupid. So we're going to make these smaller. So I guess that's the X scale, right? Yeah, let's make it half the X scale. We're basically just trying to make something that we can kind of go through.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be fancy yet.
10, -15. And let's go ahead and make this taller again. It's going to look like a kind of a structure in the background. Oh, okay, we actually might not need to make it taller because it's actually just sunk into the ground. So we do want it to sink in ever so slightly. Actually, it doesn't strictly need to sink in, but... So how far is that? -5. That would explain the discrepancy. So I'm going to do end of level structure again. Wait. Oh no, we've been changing these positions.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's okay. That's meaningful. So where is this? -5. So we'll just set the end of level structures in -5, and then it should be right on the ground. All right, cool. And that might be enough room for us to fly through without too much trouble there. So one of the tricks that we're doing right now is when we're flying through space, you can tell that the ground is moving, except for the ground is actually moving with us, and then we're doing a texture move, so we're going to basically have to transition states at the end to make this work. This is more art polish weirdness than we've done before, and so I'm not sure entirely how this is going to actually end up, but hopefully this will work out nicely. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the prefabs because we're going to basically spawn it once we've determined that the level has ended. Yeah. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to create a, let's see, score manager. Let's do it in the score manager. So let's make it so it transitions after you get a certain number of points. So public float. I spelled it very wrong. Public float. Actually, public int. Level 1 score threshold. Actually, let's be ready for the future. Let's score level score thresholds. We could do this on time as well. I just might as well. It's arbitrary at this point how we do this.
Yeah.
And I might as well do something a little bit different than the norm. So so we'll do level score thresholds as an array. Oops, that's not where you put that. You put that behind the int. And this way we can set this to so each level can have different score thresholds. And so we're going to have a private, actually let's make it public int level, and let's call it current level. And we're gonna set this equal to 1 to start, because I feel like levels are one of those things we can get away with being 1 based. So I'm gonna call it current level equals 1, level score thresholds, and so we don't have an update function on here yet, so we're gonna have an update function on here now. Void update. And kind of want to set this up as a C# delegate thingy, but I'm probably not going to do that tonight. So update if where's the score? So there's score. I don't know why I put that underneath this. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to just kind of bury this section of the score manager down here, and I'm going to go ahead and put a wait, no, not pragma. We want region, and we'll call this singleton. Singleton and awake, just in case we forget that awake is stored down here.
Just in case.
And region. We will. Mark my words. I'm in the business for forgetting things. Alright, so void update.
I'm in the business of forgetting, and business is I'm not sure.
Business is I'm not sure. That's good. Wouldn't it be business is I forgot?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'd tell you if I didn't keep forgetting.
Business is I'm not sure. I like that. So, all right. So our update is basically going to handle. We're handling game state here. So obviously we have a bunch of scripts that are independent of each other right now. They don't have any context of game state. And so there's a couple ways that we could handle this. One is we could have each object individually check for game state, which is a valid way of doing it. It's not. There's actually nothing wrong with that. And one of the ways you could do that is, say, since we have this current level thing here, you could literally have the script check to see if we're in a level, or if we're in a level transition, we could have a Boolean for like when you're not supposed to have control and stuff, and we could just pull the score manager for these things. That's completely valid. The other way we could do it is we could make it so that when a significant event happens, we tell the other objects, "Hey, something really important happened. So you react accordingly," which is more of an event-driven design. I think the latter is the better way of doing it, personally, especially with the way that Unity has things organized, and especially if you're using C#. But we haven't really done the syntax before, so I'm gonna just start working through it here in front of you, and hopefully we'll get something on paper that will make some sense. So I'm just going to start with checking to see if we're on a new level. So if, and actually, I said I was going to say current level is 1 base, but I just can't do it. I just don't have it in me. So if score is greater than level score thresholds, current level, so that means we are on a new level, so we set current level equals += 1. And we do so if score is greater than level score threshold, current level += 1, and then here we're going to send notification of some kind to the other objects that care. So we've done send message before, and that's something we could do, but I want to build this in a more generic sense so we don't have to keep with the problem with send messages. You have to make sure that the message is actually getting to the hierarchy you want it to get to, and send message, especially when you're trying to send a lot of messages to a lot of different objects that are not part of the same hierarchy, is actually really inefficient. So this is the appropriate case for I believe they call them delegates, but let's find out. So C#, delegate. So references method. Oh wait, maybe we want an interface.
Interface.
Okay, yeah, we're not doing interface. I don't think. Let's do the fancier. We have the internet. Let's use it. What are we searching for? Send a message to another object. Unity. Someone will say send message, and that's right. And then someone else will be like, I hate send message, and this is how you actually want to do it. Nope, they didn't say that. Let's just add delegate to the end of this and see if we get anything. All right. This guy just says that you should be using delegates. Here, there we go. That sounds good. Delegates, events, and singletons with Unity 3D. This looks good. All right. Oh god, it's hard to scroll though. All right. Delegate, event. All right. Let's just copy pasta.
Copy pasta is always good pasta. I mean.
I like that. So public delegate void. We're going to call this level changed. And we'll go ahead and send int level.
Are you ready for this?
New level. Ready for what? Oh, are you sending me something?
Maybe.
Okay. So, and we'll do public event. Level changed. Wait. On click event on click. What was this before? On click event. Okay, so we definitely want the name to be reproduced there. So let's redo all of that. I'm doing just Control Shift Z, Command Shift Z. It would be Control Shift Z on Windows, and we'll call the event actually level changed event. So now all we have to do is notify the event. So we're just going to so it's the shorter name here, so it's the longer name here this time naturally. Okay, let's actually use their terminology. There's probably a reason. Even if I do not know that reason yet. But at the very least, this will not confuse me as much. So, level changed, current level. So now this is officially sending a message to nothing at this point, because nothing has registered for this event. And so the way that you actually register for an event is you'd use this notation here, where you do this plus equals notation, which you shouldn't think of it as a standard plus equals. This is a special delegate C# thingy
Yeah.
that just does magic for you. You basically use plus equals to add another object. If you do equals, only that object will get the notification. If you do plus equals, it will add the object to the list of notifications. And if you do minus equals, it will remove it from the notification list. And you definitely are going to want, for everything that has a plus equals, you're going to want to have a associated minus equals with it, because otherwise you will run into null reference exception problems.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to copy and paste this, even though it doesn't really make sense. Clicker.onInstance. Why does it say clicker.instance.onClick? Wait, .instance? Why does it say .instance? But clicker is not a... Oh. Oh, he has a fancy singleton.
Neato.
No, he doesn't. He has a normal singleton. Well, anyway, since it isn't singleton, we can't actually do that, so that's good.
I think actually delegates are special. I think they can do that.
Yeah. Let's see what this does. So let's
No, I think
make
they
it
can
so
have
the
the
ship
instance.
movement knows about this. So let's make it so we do a so on our awake void awake, we want to register for level changed events. I'm gonna paste this even though it doesn't have any of the words we want. And we're going to go back in here to our level changed event. Wait, on click. So level change. So it would be score manager dot instance dot why does this not autocomplete now for me? Score manager dot instance dot event. No. What was it called again? Level change. There we go. That's the event. And so we add plus equals this with what? What is it? Oh, we add our own function that we want to actually be called at this point. So equals, we'll call this level changed, so that it'll be consistent. Oh, plus equals. Don't want to have just the regular equals. Now, as I said, you need to have a associated one, just in case the lifetime of this object is not permanent. In this particular case, it probably would be permanent, but just to be safe, we want in both the on destroy and on disable, we want to get rid of the events here. I think this is the appropriate places to do it. And then finally, we need to actually make our level changed function. So void level changed int level new level is what I'm going to call it. Doesn't matter what we call it because it doesn't have to match it's not part of the signature or anything. So it just as long as it's an int. So
You also should have a new asset in your email box.
all right, cool. So I'm just gonna store that here. Level changed. Maybe level complete is probably a better word for it. Let's just see if this stuff works. I'm just going to do a debug log for now. Log new level. I'm going to say ship movement new level event received. Level and then plus new level. So now that we've made all these little changes, let's see if it works. So in the score manager here, we want to make sure that we set up a threshold. So let's make it so let's set 2 just to be safe. Let's make the first one a threshold of 500, and the second one a threshold of 1,000, just for the fun of it. We're going to go to console, null reference exception already. So ship movement not awake. Why is that a problem? Oh, because it's awake. And because our singleton may not be instantiated yet, so I'm going to do start. Bam. All right, fix that problem. So now if we go through 5 of these things, we should see a message that says the level is now 1. And then if we go through another 5, we should see that the level is now 2. So, oh, we also still have the messages of what objects are hitting what other objects, so just ignore those for right now. And that should have been it. Oh, it's not over though. There we go. There we go. Ship movement. New level event received. Level 1. Our hard work has paid off. Not that that was terribly hard work. And I'm sorry I didn't just have this off the top of my head this time. I actually am still at the point with events that I'm not comfortable enough to just belt them off the top of my head. But I want to get to that point because they're incredibly useful. As you can already see, this is nice. And they're fast. They are a C# construct, so if you're following along in kind of JavaScript style, I think there's a similar event system. This is probably easier to use, honestly, on the Unity script side. As I said, we do C# here just because it's kind of the de facto language at this point for Unity in most of the programmers' opinions. But yeah, I think Unity script is valid still. Though mixing and matching is sometimes a problem now, just because there's some communications that the classes can't have with each other. They won't mesh properly. So we were going to do a transition. I really don't think we have time to do it.
Can import an enemy ship.
Yes, let's do that. That sounds like that'll take
It uses
time.
the same 2 materials.
All right.
Just because I'm lame like that and I didn't want to make new materials.
That's fine. That saves me from having to import more.
But you could also have the flashing. I designed it in mind with the flashing.
Oh, good. We'll just hook that up then. This goes in our models. And this one is enemy ship. Perfect. It's not even a bad enemy ship or a...
Well, it said maybe in the email, so...
Okay. I like that. I like that you delegated to the email rather than into the file itself. So let's create...
let's open it up first, too.
Okay.
I mean, we have to import it properly.
I just like to do this
fair enough.
early as possible. Enemy... we call it enemy 1. Alright, so let's look at our inspector for this. So we want scale to be 1.
Oh, it didn't
We
do the
want
materials
calculates to be
properly.
proper. Oh, is this not right?
No, but it's fine.
Why is it not right?
It's supposed to be yellow on the inside. But the yellow import thing isn't there. Oh, that's right, actually. No, because look at it, it's purple.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, cool. Sweet. Yeah, so that's the enemy ship.
So that's good.
That's good.
That's good.
There's
All of this
no
is fine. We
rigging.
don't need a rig. None. Apply animations.
Oh, what about the scaling?
I already did that, I think, but
Okay.
let's double check it. Model, scale factor 1.
Sweet.
Is that the scale factor we wanted? Or...
Probably 0.5, I think, is what
Oh,
we've
yeah,
been
yeah, it's
using.
0.5. Okay, so.
That's just going to be a
0.5.
huge ship.
Yeah. Why not? It could work. What's the front of this ship? That's the
front.
That's the fun part about this. This could really go either way.
Pointy end is the front.
Pointy end is the front. You really were going Star Fox. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Only the bad guys ever make ships that look like this.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. Pew pew.
All right, so let's actually see this in the scene for the fun of it. Where's the enemy 1? I'm gonna throw it in here. Hit apply. I'm gonna make it at 0, 0. Let's put this thing out at 50. Let's see how it looks as we fly by. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's very cool. So now let's make it. So let's give... I said we didn't have enough time, but I want to give it an AI so badly now.
I think we should get it just...
I'm going to give
spawning.
it just enough so that it spawns, and so that when you get to it... Because the way that enemies are interesting is that they can move, right? Let's make it so that when we get to a certain range of it, it actually moves back with us, so that it's kind of on the screen as a target. And then tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next week we'll actually make it shoot at you and stuff. But we'll just get it moving with you right now. So let's just do a real quick pass on an enemy AI script. So scripts, create C#, enemy AI, and all this thing's going to do is, let's see. Let's just compare the Z position to the player's Z position for right now. Now let's do a distance check. We'll do a distance check. Whatever. Not that costly, right? So, if transform.position player.transform.position equals dot position minus transform.position, and we'll use the fancy mathematical magnitude as opposed to just doing, let's use the explicit thing. No, people need to know this. All right, so magnitude of if you take a position minus another position and you take the magnitude, that is the distance between the 2 points. Yep. So if this distance is less than target distance, which is something we haven't created yet, then we do our stuff. And so let's really quickly create public float target distance equals, let's do 10.0f for the start. And we need a player.transform.position. So right now, is the player tagged as something? I think they are. Maybe.
The name player does not exist in the current context.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know that. That's because we're not done. I don't think we have the player marked as anything in any way. In this case, let's use the gameplay plane as the player.
Cool.
No, let's not use that. Let's use the jet model as the player, because it's the thing with the collider.
I think that's a good one.
Or should it be the ship parent? So many choices. Alright, let's make it the ship parent. Tag player. Did that automatically tag everything else? No. It didn't even ask me. What a dick. Doesn't it usually like complain incessantly about that?
Just like, I don't know. Maybe
Alright,
not.
so initially we were going to get the player. So in the update we're going to grab transform dot. Oh wait. Let's just do. Yeah, let's do game object. Game object player equals game object dot find game object with tag player. And so if the distance is appropriate, then less than, or let's do less than or equal to target distance. Then we will just set the and we'll do this as late update actually. Player.transform.position minus transform.position.magnitude is less than or equal to target distance. Then transform.position okay, so we want the Z to basically be maintained at this point. Let's do the standard vector 3. New position equals transform dot. Actually, let's do transform dot position. New position dot z equals player dot transform dot position dot z plus, be plus or minus? Yeah, be plus target distance. And finally, transform dot position equals new position.
There we are.
Let's see if this does something even close to right.
Interesting.
So that thing's 50 away. That'll be perfect. Ship is going to gain the... Oh, wait, no. The enemy is going to gain the new AI that we just wrote. And we're going to hit play. So there's our ship, and there it goes.
So now it's just kind of going along.
Yep, it's going along. It is jittery. We can probably fix that.
Yeah. I think we should leave that for next time.
Oh, I know why it's doing it. It's because it's using the actual distance to the player rather than...
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
We'll fix that next time. But yeah, that's going to be our basic concept, and then we'll shoot at this thing.
Neato.
So, thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Good night. No, I'm kidding. No, we have advertisements to do.
Yes, we have to do that.
So yeah, if you want to contact me, you can email me at pushypixels@pushypixels.com, or you can tweet me at Dracfire.
If you want to contact me, you can send me an email. It's at philip@protosoftworks.com. You can also follow me on the Twitter, watch me tweet, at magmalemur. And you should buy Proton Pulse. Buy it. Buy Proton Pulse. It's on iOS. It's on the Mac. It's on the Windows. Just buy it.
They know it's on everything.
Buy it. It's on the Ouya.
And you should.
You have an Ouya. Buy.
You should buy automation. You should definitely buy automation. And is there, or should I say anything about that?
No.
I'm not going to say anything. All right. No. But get automation.
Yeah, you should get it.
All right.
It's good times.
Yes. So you
Beat
guys.
my high score.
Yeah. You guys have a great week.
Have a good week.